Hello, my beauties and gents. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I misspelled toxic on this IG live. Sorry. But this is going to be a lemon water and woke words episode. We are going to be talking about toxic positivity and also how to navigate your negative emotions, because that's something we all kind of deal with. I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with toxic positivity or know what it is. Essentially, it's just downplaying negative emotions and always kind of forcing yourself to look towards the positive. So when people say look on the bright side and all of those things, that's essentially what toxic positivity is. And you ignore or push away you push away from all of those negative emotions. So we're going to talk a little bit about, how we can, sometimes get into that toxic place where looking on the bright side is, actually becomes toxic versus, positive. And then we're also going to talk about how to really navigate those negative emotions, because I know that we can all feel them from time to time, right? So essentially toxic positivity is like the opposite of like feeling those negative emotions, like anxiety and depression and all that stuff. But it could also lead to that, right? So there's a few ways I personally have dealt with toxic positivity in my life. And this could, possibly be a way that you're dealing with it currently, or you didn't even know you were dealing with it. A lot of people don't know they're dealing with it. So toxic positivity. So the first way that I kind of realized that my positivity was a little bit more toxic than it was helpful was the fact that I, have done so much inner work, so much mindset work in regards to, because I really, obviously your emotions really dictate kind of your reality, right? So when you know this information, it can be kind of scary sometimes to experience some of those negative emotions, because then you're like, oh my God, something's going to manifest in some kind of weird way, my life and my body or something like that. So, it's really easy to go towards that place where you want to just push away those negative emotions, not feel them, switch your perspective and all those things. Something that you guys have probably heard me say quite a bit is learning when to push and learning when to be kind. And you only know the difference when you practice tuning in. So that's a little phrase that I have coined over the years. Because it's not always a one size fits all. It's not always a one answer kind of thing. You really have to learn how to listen to your own intuition and know if it's a time to push or if it's a time to be kind to yourself. Meaning if it is a time to just push away those negative feelings, switch your mindset to something more positive, or if it's a time to actually embrace those feelings, really notice what they're trying to navigate you towards. And in a sense, they lose their power, right? So not every situation is going to be the same, right? Not every situation is going to be the same. So you really have to learn how to work with your mind and body in order to strengthen that intuition so you know the difference. And again, that only happens when you practice tuning in with yourself, when you practice listening to yourself and listening to that intuition, which I have gotten much better at over the years. But I will say that I was really obsessed with being in this high vibe place. Who likes to feel bad? Nobody really likes to feel bad, right? But I didn't realize how beneficial it could be to actually navigate those negative emotions and not judge them as good or bad. And I'll get into that later on, but, you know, in the sense of like, if you did, you know, I just felt like I always had to be high vibe. I mean, like this was like a slogan in my classes and everything like that. Everything, all the tools that I was using was to get in a high vibe place so that I can, you know, just be vibrating at a higher level and, you know, get the things that I want and have the experiences that I want and live the life that I want. So this is kind of a little bit of a trap in a sense, right? When you bypass some of the things that your body and mind are, you know, are trying to show you, right? So, by just pushing away those negative emotions, you don't get the chance to actually see what are they trying to tell you. I bypassed all of them. I wanted to bypass all of them. I didn't want them to just be in my life, right? Because I didn't want anything crazy to manifest. I didn't want, you know, anything bad to happen, right? So this is obviously was not serving me, because what happens is I just didn't feel my feelings, right? And so I probably missed a lot of messages that my intuition was trying to, you know, share with me, because I didn't know how to pay attention to it thoroughly, right? I didn't know how to pay attention in a way where it was like, this is actually leading you and redirecting you towards something else that you need to look at, something else that you need to highlight in your life. So if you think about it, like if you experience anxiety, for instance, like if you experience anxiety, you have something, you know, like a presentation on Friday and you're experiencing a lot of anxiety about it. And if you are kind of obsessed with this like high vibe kind of mentality like I was, you know, you're just gonna push those feelings away. Okay, no, it's okay. I want to do good. I want to do good and whatever. It's not a problem. I'm not going to worry about it. But in reality, what if that anxious feeling was just trying to highlight something for you? It was just trying to say, hey, are you really prepared for that presentation? Is there something else that you can look at? Is there something else that you can tap into and mention that's going to resonate with people a lot more? So this is what I'm saying to you as far as how those negative emotions could actually benefit you by leaning into them, right? And not being afraid of them, right? And then by doing that, it can actually lead you to positivity, right? It can actually say, oh, actually, I do feel a little bit of anxious about this. What does this mean? And lean into it, and you can find out that maybe you missed something. Maybe they wanted you to present on a certain subject and you had totally missed it. And, you know, now digging deeper into it, you see like, oh, okay, I would have missed that and it would have, you know, my presentation would have bombed. You know, this is just such a vague example. I'm like the worst at giving examples like this, but making up examples on the spot. But this is just like a little vague example, right? So this is a way that can show you that how highlighting and leaning into those negative emotions might be a way, a way for you to really, enhance your life and enhance your positivity in other ways. Maybe you're like having, you're feeling a certain kind of way about a person, right? And you're having anxious thoughts, maybe you're having sad thoughts, maybe whatever it is. Maybe this is just a way for your intuition, your mind and body to like talk to you, right? Because we don't just, feel it, in our head, right? We don't just say we don't just hear it in our head, oh, I'm worried or whatever. When we have anxiety, we feel it in our bodies too, right? We feel it in our chest or in our stomach or wherever else it's kind of coming out, right? We feel it. So that's that mind-body connection. So if you are feeling a certain kind of way about a certain person, then does that mean that maybe you have to have a conversation with that person? Maybe this person needs to, there's something going on with them or whatever, there's something there that needs to be looked at. So again, it's just highlighting these things in your life, and it's a way for your mind and body to communicate with you. So those two examples are kind of like examples of when it's a time to be kind to yourself, right? To be kind, to lean in, to use those things as highlights. And then there's times where you got to just push. You got to just push those negative feelings away, and you know it and you feel it. And you say because you know that they're not serving you, right? It's just because that's how negative emotions they play on each other, right? If you guys have ever had anxiety, if you ever had depression or anything like that, it's just like a downward spiral, right? Like the emotions just play on each other, the thoughts just play on each other. And next thing you know, you're like in kind of like a deep, dark place, right? So we don't want to get there we for sure don't want to get there. But there's just going to be days that you're just not feeling it, right? You're just not feeling it, right? So you can allow yourself to feel whatever it is those feelings are, or you're feeling, or you can decide these feelings are not serving me today. I don't need these feelings. I've dealt with these feelings. I know how to counteract these feelings. Let me just counteract them, whatever process you know how to do it with. And I'll share my process later on in this recording. But you move through them, right? And then you choose a better thought, right? When it's just it's really sometimes those negative emotions, they're just a habit, right? You just have, practice thinking and worrying in a negative way. So the only way to really counteract that is by building a better habit, which is more positive thoughts, right? You build the habit of negative thoughts, and you're able to build a habit of positive thoughts. In order to do that, sometimes you do have to, catch yourself in that moment and be aware of it, and then counteract those negative thoughts, those negative feelings, or those negative thoughts that are causing negative feelings, right? Because your thoughts are what cause your emotion. Your emotions are basically what are causing your reality. Okay, so I hope you guys are following along. Let me know if you guys have ever gotten stuck in the bypassing of your emotions in order to stay in a high vibe because you thought that's the only way to go, right? Because that's how I felt for a long time. And yeah, so there's a time to push and there's a time to be kind. So definitely differentiating that difference is going to come with practicing tuning in with yourself and really knowing, what do I really need in this moment? What is going to serve me in this moment? Are these thoughts serving me? Should I just give in to my feelings and, take this day and then show up bigger, better, stronger tomorrow? Or what is this? What is this? Is this trying to highlight something for me? Things like that. The other way that I have found people, and myself included, kind of turning positivity into a toxic thing in a way where it's not serving you is like culturally. Culturally, there's so many examples of, personally, I'm Mexican American. That means I'm first generation Mexican. My parents immigrated here many, many, many years ago, and they are literally the epitome of toxic positivity. But I feel like it's different, right? Because they might actually be genuinely positive about certain things, but I know that it's not all the case, right? Because the way a lot of immigrants kind of see things is just oh my God, you're just lucky to be alive. You're just lucky to have the bare minimum, and they genuinely feel that. So I know a lot of first generation kids, or even, just immigrant kids or whatever, they're not allowed to feel bad. They're not allowed to really feel their feelings because it's their parents are holy shit, do you know what it took me to get you here? You have no reason to feel negative, this is such a much better life for you. So they don't feel their feelings themselves, and they always kind of brush it off, look on the bright side, look how blessed you are, things like that, but without feeling those feelings. And again, sometimes that's okay. And then sometimes it's not, right? Sometimes it's like, wow, like I didn't even know what depression was or anything like that until like I was in college, or after college, actually. I had anxiety and all that. I didn't know what anxiety was. I didn't know what depression was. And had hardly even heard the words being uttered, right? Until I started experiencing them myself. And then one day I was just like, oh, I can't get out of bed. Like I just could not get out of bed. I had a lot of things going on with my family. I had a lot of things going on in my life. And it was just really hard to make it out of bed. And I had no idea that that's what depression was. So goes to show how much I knew. And even just the other day, like my mom and my sister and I were talking, and I don't know what we were talking about necessarily or what brought it up. But I don't know if I was like telling my mom that it's, being pregnant, I was starting to get really uncomfortable because I was getting bigger, or what. I don't know what set it off. And my mom like instantly was like, oh, it's, having kids is like such a blessing and stuff. Mind you, she had 7 kids. And I said something in regards to that, right? Because, and I don't know what I said. I'm sorry. I wish I knew exactly the wording that was being used. But then my mom like kind of brushed off whatever I said and said like, oh, well, kids are a blessing and this and that. And my sister was like, well, Mom, I know that you used to be depressed. Like I used to see you, right? Because she's older and I'm the youngest. And that to me was really, really interesting because it's like at the time, I'm sure my mom didn't probably even know she was depressed or whatever. But now everybody kind of knows better, right? Everybody kind of knows what those feelings are and those emotions are and what those look like, right? So, and my mom is like it is like the epitome of this, like, look on the bright side and there's nothing bad going on. There's nothing negative happening. Doesn't exist. Right. But like, clearly she probably doesn't even know how to define, label it herself or define it herself. She probably doesn't even know what it is because I'm sure her parents didn't show that or experience those things or even allow them to, right? Or allow themselves to. So very, very interesting. There's no doubt in my mind that my mom probably experienced some of those things having 7 kids and a pretty tough life herself. But it's just funny that even now she still kind of denies it, right? So culturally, this is what happens within families. And it's so nice to see the message these days, like on social media and stuff, about this, because I feel like there's so many cultures that really do downplay negative emotions, and have a lot of pressures and things like that, just culturally. So there's so many things that happen there. And frankly, it's just okay to feel your feelings, right? And so I'm going to show you how to navigate through those emotions so that they really serve you versus, letting them spiral or pushing them away or all of those things, right? And the best tool I have found to navigate your emotions is mindfulness, right? Because the first step is always awareness. The first step is always paying attention on purpose of like what it is you're feeling. Again, that's when you can spot, like, is this a time to push or is this a time to be kind to myself? So just having that awareness can already be just game changing for you, right? In terms of navigating those emotions. That will be the first step to show you which way you will go, right? And the second step is obviously in mindfulness, right? There's a few simple fundamentals to mindfulness is being curious. So really being curious about those emotions, again, will lead you to your next steps, right? Is this a time to push or is this a time to be kind? Either it's a time to lean into those negative emotions and say, what is this trying to show me? what is this trying to highlight for me? And then following that roadmap. Or you can say, this is something that I need to feel at the moment. I'm going to take my time with this and just let it be. Or you can say, these emotions are not serving me. They're a habit. I've already dealt with this. I'm trying to work on a more positive habit, changing my thoughts into more positive thoughts, and go that way. Hello. And so that's what happens when you, number one, are aware of them, because a lot of people are just not aware of their thoughts and emotions. They're just not. They're just so they're so comfortable in them, right? They've experienced them for so long that it's hard for them to even differentiate like what's a good feeling, what's a negative feeling. They've been in the negative feeling for so long that sometimes they don't even realize like they're just going around in life just super depressed or anxious or grumpy or whatever it is, right? So awareness, curiosity, non-judgment, right? So it's not good or bad, right? Because and again, that goes with back to the high vibe kind of pressure, right? Is like, oh my God, these bad emotions, let me get away from them, right? You label them as bad. So naturally you want your brain's like fights them, right? So if you approach your emotions with just non-judgment, they're neither good, they're neither bad, they just are. They almost instantly lose their power, right? You almost instantly are able to just really see them for what they are. And again, you can, and being able to do that, right, leads you to what are you going to do with those emotions? Are you going to push or are you going to be kind? And open heart, open mind, no judgment, and just being kind to yourself, right? Like practicing just being kind to yourself, even if you're going to push still, right? Because sometimes you want to beat yourself up for especially if you're actively trying to change those emotions, those negative thought patterns. You're like, oh my God, there I go again, thinking negative about myself. And it's like, and that's not being kind, right? So no matter what it is, always just meeting yourself with kindness. Oh, okay, cool. Like I noticed this now, I'm getting better, so on and so forth, right? So practicing being kind to yourself. The easiest way to practice being kind to yourself is to just imagine yourself, or imagine that what just happened, you're a little kid did it, right? So you wouldn't like yell at a little toddler, right? Because they thought a negative thought or they said a negative thing. You would like be really kind and nurturing, right, to them. So that's it. Those are like the fundamentals, right? So awareness, paying attention on purpose, curiosity, non-judgment, and kindness. So those are the ways to kind of navigate those negative emotions so that they work for you versus working against you, right? All right, you guys, that is it for me. Oh, just a quick note. I'm going to be doing a free masterclass next week, all about sharing my secrets for your next level, how to step into your next level, sharing everything that I possibly can for free. And I'm really excited about it. Like, I'm just excited to geek out about it. I'm excited to share everything that I know, because I have not been able to share it in this kind of way, in this capacity, in this masterclass where everything's kind of localized and I give it to you straight. So if you guys are interested in attending that masterclass live or even on the replay, you can DM me the word link. I'll send you the link. There's nowhere to find it except for if you DM me at the moment. So I really hope to see you guys there. This is going to be great for you if you are really, if you know that you are ready just to take things to the next level. You know that there's some things that are holding you back, slowing you down, and you really want to learn, right? Actionable steps, no fluff, like how you're going to really make it there, how to step into that next level. So if you're ready for that, you're ready for your next level, definitely DM me the word link. I'll send you the link, and it'll be really fun to connect with you guys and see you guys. It's my favorite thing to see you guys on the other side of my computer screen and talk to you. So, all right. If you watch this on the replay, comment below. Let me know your takeaways. Let me know if this helped you. Let me know if you've experienced toxic positivity and didn't know it. If you've experienced it and did know it, all the things. All right.